Hello and welcome back to Zenith. As per the promise, we are back, and I told you all that we will be discussing The Tempest by William Shakespeare. Before we actually get into the play, let us understand what is this play, what is the theme of the play, and when and why was this play written. The Tempest. Let's talk about what does tempest mean. It isn't that it's a very rare word, but it is something that it's not very common, not very generally used. Tempest actually means a sea storm, a storm in the sea. Now, the play entirely revolves around this entire basic concept that the beginning of the play and the climax of the play depends upon that major tempest. I would say this is the most appropriate title that could be given to this play. We will come to know when we discuss the play, when we study the play. And now let's come to the theme of the play. The theme. We all know that Shakespeare is very, very popular for his mixing of ideas, for mixing of genres. The first thing, he is very popular for comedy, for suspense, for tragedy, for romance to the most. But this play has a very different flavor. That is tragi-comedy. You take tragedy and comedy, cut it and make this word. Tragedy and comedy makes tragi-comedy. A very basic thing and a very important thing, that is, anyone who has studied Shakespeare even a bit, they know that Shakespeare was a master of bringing flavors to art. This is what he has done in this play also. The play, when it was written, it was not written to learn into academics. Shakespeare was unaware that there will be a time, this time, that the council, the curriculum will run on his writings. So there are some inappropriate wording, some inappropriate description into the play. If you avoid that, the play is entirely a pure form of art. It was not written to run into academics, but it was written to attract the mass audience. Attracting the mass means attracting the majority of the readers. Reading is something that is not definite in every particular individual's case, but it is divided. Some of us like reading romance, some of us love reading tragedy, some love comedy, suspense, thriller, and so on. Shakespeare was not only a writer but an entrepreneur in that era. He knew he has mastered the art of selling his book by writing and mixing all the fortes in one. Tempest is not untouched by it. Tempest has got so many flavors into it, but the most strong that really come out of the book are the tragedy and comedy. Now it was all about the theme of the book. Let us talk about the main characters of the book. The play also involves supernatural elements. Supernatural elements means the elves, spirits, half moon calves, and so many others. But the strongest of them are a man who actually controls over these aspects, or we would rather call the man who's got a control over these supernatural elements. That is the protagonist of the play, Prospero. Prospero is a king, the Duke of Milan, usurped by his brother Antonio and thrown out of the dukedom into a dilapidated boat to a uninhabited island with his 3-year-old daughter, who is now 12 plus 3 years old and ready to fall in love. Miranda is the second most important character of the play, though she is unlike any of the Shakespearean heroine. She is not at all going to take the actions on the shoulder and further the play. Be it Candida, be it Tempest, be it The Merchant of Venice, the heroines are almost the same, but the least common act we would call in the book is this girl Miranda. She is the daughter of a king, Prospero, and a princess herself. After Miranda, here comes the third important character. He is a spirit, but we will call him a genie here. A genie who fulfills all the desires of Prospero. He does everything what his master Prospero says him to. There is a reason why he does so. He was confined in a pine tree before Prospero's arrival on this island. But when Prospero heard his deep groaning pain, he heard him crying, he found out that there is a spirit locked into a pine tree. He rescued him out, and in return he got the service, the loyalty of Ariel. Ariel, who was before Prospero under the supervision of a wicked witch, Sycorax. She died giving birth to her half-human son. He was born with the union of a wicked witch and a devil. They bore a son and named him Caliban. He is nothing but a half-human. Now this drags us to the other character of the play, that is Caliban was once a true worshipper of Prospero. After reaching on this uninhabited island, Prospero found Caliban the only living creature there. He gave him berries, he gave him water, he taught him how to speak when he could utter not even a single word. In return, Caliban would show him the places of fresh waters, the fountains, where they could find fruits to survive on the island. But this relationship among the daughter, the father, and Caliban did not last long when one of the nights Caliban, sleeping in Miranda's cell, tried to violate her chastity. Now, like a responsible father, Prospero took the initiative and threw him out of his cell into a dungeon right in front. Now, Caliban was not treated well. Caliban was the creature who used to perform all the menial jobs of the father. He brings food, he brings wood, he gets them water, he prepares their dinner. This is what is left for him to do now, only because of his one wrong decision to try to violate the chastity. After Caliban, let us talk about the other few aspects. Now these were the characters on the island right now. Let us talk about the characters who actually brought these characters on the island. Prospero's brother Antonio, the man who actually betrayed his only brother in greed of becoming the ruler of the Milan. His greed has eaten up all of his humanoid heart. You'll come to know why. In the greed of becoming the ruler, he actually took the help of another king who was a long-term enemy of Prospero. The king was Alonso. They both started plotting against Prospero, and once Antonio learnt that he wants or desires a yearly subsidy, he agreed. Fine, you will be getting yearly subsidies in return, but you will have to help me to usurp my brother. He did as he was promised. He helped Antonio to usurp Prospero. Now, Alonso was also not untouched with another, the younger brother of Alonso, Stefano. He will be later part of the play inflamed by Antonio to murder Alonso. There Alonso will learn that whatever he did to usurp Prospero or throw him out of the dukedom, he has got the same in return. Now these are the positive and the negative characters. Now we know why Shakespeare was more likely to be loved among the youngsters was because of his romantic interests into the play. Here, though this is not going to play a very important part into the play, but of course this is going to be the reason, this romance is going to be the reason between the union of Prospero and Alonso, long-term enemies. Prospero's daughter Miranda falls in love with Alonso's son Ferdinand. Ferdinand, when caught into the Tempest, is brought alone on the one of the corner of the island. Now this was done purposely. Prospero has his own plan. When Miranda and Ferdinand saw each other, they fell in love. To test Ferdinand's true love for Miranda, Prospero has made him to do lots and lots of troublesome and hard laborious work. Prospero was wanting to know, he just wanted to make sure that Miranda is going to fall into the right hands. Miranda is going to the right man. Prospero not only loved his daughter like a father, but he has also tutored Miranda. Here, Ferdinand did not prove his love wrong. He has given a standout performance in all the tough jobs offered by Prospero to test his love. He did that to prove his love for the girl of his life. And now, in the end of the play, we'll come to know that how this love is going to add up to the union, how this love has actually made these long-term enemies, Prospero and Alonso, like each other, and what made Prospero forgive Alonso. So we are going to end the class of the day here. I'll see you in the next class where we will begin from Act 1 of the Tempest. Until then, please take care of yourselves, and yes, the most, please keep studying. Thank you.